All right, guys, we have just completed the finalist interviews with Cody and Ray. We are on to finalist number 3. Our last finalist of the night comes to you from Oregon. This is Joshua Dishman, Chasing Tails Outdoors. Josh is a phenomenal hunter. Josh has a reputation as being one of potentially the premier, top 10 kind of blacktail hunters in the country. Like the dude knows his stuff. And what he's really, I think, known for too is he's not a guide, he's not an outfitter, yet every year he finds himself taking new hunters, young people, kids, females, his family members, and takes them out and helps them get, whether it's a whitetail, deer, elk. So he's just a passionate outdoorsman, and but it's not just about him and his season. He's always aggressively taking other people out. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Joshua Dishman. So this is the judges panel. Josh, any questions that you have before we jump into this?
I don't have any questions, other than I'm about as nervous can get.
I can understand that.
I gotta add a little bit to my background. I gotta match you a little bit.
You got to keep up, huh? Oh, there we go. I like that hog. Is that a warthog though? That's not a razorback there.
Man, that's straight from southern Arkansas.
All right. Hi, Josh.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. My question for you is, what made this season an extraordinary one for you, and why?
It all boils down to a lot of the people I take. I have out of state to Wyoming, but just sharing the.
Are we supposed to be on this?
No, you're good.
I was like,
I sent that message to the whole thread, so it's like, wait a second. I'm in the shower. You need me to join right now?
I'm gonna finish my bathroom.
You literally look like he's.
I
promise I'm not. I was like, look,
Yeah.
see, I'm fixing my shower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Tucker was giving you bonus points for tuning in when you're dropping a deuce on the.
I can't run you any TP, man.
I would have got nothing. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll go. I apologize.
No, you're the man.
All right, Josh. Cody can fix his shower. Are you a handyman too?
Yeah.
What made this season extraordinary for you, and why?
I would definitely say just sharing my passion with other people. A lot of the people I do take outdoors don't have the opportunity to get outdoors like I do all the time. And to me, that's something special. And I think that's what makes it extraordinary for me.
Awesome. It comes off as you're quite the woodsmanship. You have that kind of tone. We all love gear, and I would love to know what you would take. What's the most important thing that you pack out in the woods?
Definitely my binos. Here in Oregon, we do a lot of glassing. I mean, we have a lot of clear cuts, timber clear cuts and stuff, and we do a lot of glassing, anywhere from 8 to 10 hours a day, depending on the day. So
I think Tucker's got a good question for you. So Tucker from
what kind of binos are you using? It's important.
Well, unfortunately, right now they're Sig Zulu. But I'm hoping to change that. But my spine's
just kidding.
My spine's vortex, if that helps.
There you go. There's a wise answer.
The binos were given to me, so
I'm totally kidding, man. There's a lot of good stuff out there.
All right, who's up?
He just answered my question, I think. So I'd be on to Aiden.
So with pretty year-round the outdoors, what's one thing that maybe you didn't do so well last off season that you're gonna make sure you do this off season so you can find even more success this upcoming year?
It's definitely putting in the work. I do a lot of work. I drop a lot of trail cameras every year. I think just knowing the patterns to the game that you're hunting is a big contributor to my success, I think.
All right. So, with all that time in the field this year, was there anything new you learned about yourself?
That's what I love about hunting is you're always learning. I mean, to me, I've done it since I was 9. I'm 42 now. And just when you think you got it figured out, you always learn something new. Whether it's by somebody you bring hunting, that somebody always has something to offer. That's what I love about taking people. It's always something different.
But just kind of piggybacking off kind of that answer. So, like, what were a few takeaways of this year, right? Like, so what were some of those new things you learned? I mean, I know you've been hunting, like you said, since you were 9. So, I mean, you're probably a master hunter, one of the best blacktail. What is one little nugget you can kind of take away from this previous year that you can kind of carry with you in the future?
I definitely would say being patient.
Struggle with that.
You got to have patience, man. A lot of people ask me when I'm bear hunting. They're like, "Oh, how do you kill a bear every year?" And I said, "Patience."
And good glass.
And good glass.
So I know that you've been, hunting since you were 9. I'm sure you've had plenty of hunts where you don't harvest an animal. So how do you define a successful hunt?
Just being in God's country is a successful hunt to me. I just enjoy it. I mean, I've told Jared before, I spend about 200 days in the woods, and to me, that's my church.
So coming from the Outdoorsman of the Year last year, what does, for you, if you were to win that, what would it mean to you?
It would mean the world to me. I mean, it would mean that my hard work has paid off and it has done something. I mean, to have it go unnoticed, or I guess that's the word. To me, it would mean the world to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. I was just curious, looking through your profile, it looked like you do some work with some conservation organizations, as well as kind of helping out with youth hunting and getting people through Hunter's Ed. Could you just anything about that?
Yeah, I'm a committee member for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation here in Roseburg. So right now we're going full tilt on getting stuff rounded up for that and getting ready for the banquet. And so, yeah, it's a full-time job, it seems like, after work. But I love it. I feel you have to put in what you take out. That's the way I see it.
Great. So, it's clear that mentoring is important to you and taking other people along. What's something you would tell just an average hunter to kind of sway them towards mentoring, like what you get out of it and what you see get deposited into them?
To me, mentoring a youth, there's absolutely nothing better. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's a feeling that you get unlike no other of watching a youth succeed. And I highly recommend getting kids outdoors, get them into the woods, keep that passion going. I mean, like my nephew, he fell on some hard times. His dad passed away last year, and he called me. He's all, "Uncle," he says, my dad's gone. He says, "Now I don't have nobody to ever take me hunting." And I said, "Walker," I said, "I will never let you lose that passion." I said, "No matter what," I said, "I will make sure you're in the woods with me all the time."
Hmm.
So to me, getting youth outdoors, it's a big passion of mine. I mean, I highly recommend everybody do it, whether it's young or old. I mean, I've had first time shooters this year that were 40 years old, you know, that they never thought that they were able to ever pull a trigger on a deer, but once they done it, you know, it changed things for them. You know, they had a different outlook on it. They see that we're not there just to kill an animal. They seen the whole process of, you know, what it took to get that animal, what it took to break down that animal, what it took to, you know, all the work after the fact, you know. So it changed their views, and I think I highly recommend getting anybody outdoors.
That's great.
So kind of as hunters, we face a lot of like trials, tribulations, kind of tough times in the woods. What was kind of one thing you faced this year, kind of like an adversity or something you kind of had to struggle to get through the season?
Like I say, it was Wyoming. Just the whole trek of, you know, 10 miles or 7 miles a day to, you know, missing home. You know, we were over there for 2.5 weeks. It wasn't that long, but you know, it was a moment that, you know, I'll never get back with my family because I missed that opportunity, you know. But it was a race to get back home to help them, you know, and everybody else that I had to lined up to help, you know, get deer and stuff. So say that was my biggest adversity, is just being away from home and then having, you know, such a long trek for 2.5 weeks.
So if you could change one thing about this season, what would it be?
You know, going to Wyoming and getting my antelope was a bucket lister for me. But if I had to change not going to Wyoming, I would probably change it just so I could be here to help more people.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Can you run us through one of your favorite hunt logs of this year? Just like one that just kind of felt like everything was coming together and you felt like you were just inputting all this great stuff that you're going to remember for years and years.
I would, I don't know, I had so many, but one of them was, I would say, would be Rob's elk. So I had 3 guys message me on Instagram. They said, hey, you know, I got a muzzleloader elk tag, but we have no idea where to go. And I said, well, I don't work tomorrow. I said, I'll run up and check a spot that I normally see bulls in. And they're like, really? You would do that? And I said, absolutely. So I got up Friday morning and headed to the mountain. And sure enough, seen 4 bulls that morning. So I texted them back. I said, hey, I got 4 bulls spotted. And I said, I need you guys to meet me here tomorrow morning. So I sent them my pin through Onyx. I said, meet me here at daylight. And I said, we'll see what we can do. And so I get there at daylight, or I was there 45 minutes before daylight, actually. And I'm waiting and nobody's showing up. So I glass over where the bulls were, and sure enough, they're over there and still nobody. So I'm like, uh-oh. So after about 30 minutes of daylight, they finally showed up. And I said, where you guys been? I said, the elk are over there. And they started laughing like, oh, really? I said, no, seriously, they're over there. So we made a big game plan on them. And we wound up trekking clear across the other side of the mountain and coming in on top of them. And Rob was his first time ever muzzleloader hunting and first time ever elk hunting. And by the time we made it around there, the thermals had changed. The thermals were blowing down the hill right towards the elk. And so we waited probably a good 2.5 hours at least for the thermals to change and come up the hill. And I sent Rob down the timberline. I said, just be patient. I said, they're there. They've been there. They were there all day yesterday. I said, they will be there. So he goes down the timberline And sure enough, I get a picture. He's all, I see the elk at 100 yards. I was like, perfect. I said, just sit there. And so we go sneaking in behind them. And sure enough, they all bed down 100 yards away. And about that time, we get a picture from another guy on the other side. He says, hey, I got the elk, 35 yards away, but no bulls. I'm like, okay, well, you need to be patient. So about that time, the elk feed out, and Rob, the best part is he was shaking like a leaf. And the spike comes out, and he made a heck of a heart shot on this bull. And it was awesome. I mean, just to be there and have the excitement of a first time shooter, to me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, this is where all the elk were moseying down the road. I don't know if you guys are looking at that. At least I am.
Definitely. All those tracks. That's awesome.
So yeah, there was, I don't remember exactly how many head. There was probably close to 30 head altogether. 2 5-point bulls and 2 pikes. And I told Rob, I said, being your first elk, I said, don't ever pass up an elk. I said, you may want a 5-point, but I said, a spike will taste better. So yeah, he wound up shooting that spike, and like I say, it was just a great moment. So yeah, this is Rob making it down to his elk. And the funny part is when he pulled the trigger, his reaction when he turned around and told us, he's all, I hit it. So in that moment there with guys that I didn't even know, it was awesome.
That is so awesome. How does it feel to be showing this to 5 judges?
I tell you what, it's an awesome feeling to me. I never in my wildest dreams would I ever think I'd be talking to anybody from Vortex, anybody from Remington, anybody from bear hunting. And like I say, it's an awesome feeling.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing and walking us through that. That's great.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
And then we all joined in on the pack out at the end, come out with headlamps on, and made 3 new friends.
That's awesome.
Shoot.
Okay.
With all that running around and all those different days hunting, how'd you feel physically this hunting season?
Honestly, after Wyoming, I felt pretty good. I think because roughly we're about 1,200 feet above sea level, and we were hunting in Wyoming at 98 to 10,000 foot. And it was amazing what 2.5 weeks in that high country did, because when I came back, it was like I could breathe.
Yeah.
And I never felt better, actually. So it was good.
Okay. Hey, Josh, we're coming up on time, and I want to be sensitive to all the judges' schedules, but I want to give you kind of one more thing because the judges don't know this, and they wouldn't know to ask this, and I know isn't necessarily a reflection of last year, but you started doing some planning and coordinating stuff last year that's going to impact this year. And you've been doing some stuff to try to help. I think it was firefighters or first responders and stuff like that. So can you go ahead and just share a little bit about what you're doing there? I know it's not related to HuntLeague. It's not necessarily your hunting season or your success, but I think it demonstrates a little bit more about who you are.
So yeah, this last year I did my first ever 5-day blacktail hunt giveaway for a veteran or first responder. And we wound up drawing in January. And so we got a veteran coming out of Idaho to hunt with us for 5 days. We wound up getting several sponsors for that. By the way, we did buy him a pair of Vortex binoculars.
Back on my good list, Josh. Back on my good list.
But also I teamed up with the Following Outdoors this to do another veteran hunt giveaway as a raffle at all the Pacific Northwest sportsman shows. So they're going to raffle that off to raise money for, the 22 and all that stuff. And to me, it's a special feeling. I mean, I never thought I would do anything like this, and I'm glad I did. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And I appreciate all your guys' time. And thanks for staying up so late to make this special for me.
No problem, man. Thanks for being here.
No, you're the man. Thank you, Josh. You have a good night. Hey, we'll see you on Saturday.
Hopefully I'll have better service.
Glad we got to hear him.
I know. I'm glad it worked out. Thanks for sticking around. Sorry it got late on us. Let's go ahead and just talk for a couple minutes. Man, what are some of the things about Josh that really sticks out for him as a finalist in our 2022 Outdoorsman of the Year?
I can start. I mean, obviously, just the way, he's a very established hunter. He definitely has a leg up on everybody as far as time in the woods, species, and that kind of thing. But it really looks like he spends a lot of time really just helping new hunters, youth hunters, even donating to a veteran. That's something obviously we believe a lot in. So all of those are definitely good check marks in this corner.
Yeah, I think just mainly like his big heart, like you can just tell he cares for people, and like that's the way that he expresses it, the aspect of mentoring and just really like just guarding the sport, and then guarding this thing that he cares about. I kind of wish that like Cody could have a guy like that in his life, like beforehand, or or even Ray. It's like it seems like he probably fills the gaps in people's lives, like those guys would have loved to have had somebody like him doing that for them. And so I feel like he exhibits like a lot of sacrifice for others, sharing the things that he loves and is passionate about.
Yeah, well put. Yeah.
Wildly impressive on kind of like just those random guys. He's just like, sure, here's some elk. I don't know how elk hunting is in Arkansas, but in Montana, generally speaking, if someone comes up to you and goes, "Hey, buddy, like, where are your elk at?" You're like, "No, no way.
They're way out east.
You gotta go there." Have you heard of South Dakota, North Dakota? Yeah, I should go there. So yeah, that's definitely commitment to the game at a higher level than just like getting animals.
Yeah. I see his cell service and reception, it speaks to where his heart really is, and that's out in the woods, and that's being disconnected and being out there, and his passion for being there. It just his backdrop's just full of years of experience and being out there. He's very impressive, and he might not be able to do these interviews very well because this isn't where he's comfortable. He's comfortable hiking and being out there and experiencing it with others. So he's impressive.
Yeah, I'm with Aiden. As soon as he told us the story about him like giving away his like honey hole of elk to like 3 random people he's never met before, I was like, oh, that tells me exactly what kind of person you are, like just a great guy who really cares about other people getting out there. So
yeah, because those guys will be back.
At the end of the day, he would give up success on his hunt to let one of those guys fill a tag.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people that do that, he's an exceptional kind of guy in that regard.
Yeah, he said the same thing about he would give up his Wyoming hunt to stay home and help other people hunt.
Yeah.
So
And honestly, the Wyoming hunt for me was one of those differentiators for him, because what was different about this season compared to other seasons? That's a kind of a question that we asked, like, why would this season stand out? And Josh is a guy that rarely ever, he doesn't hunt out of state. He lives in Oregon, hunts Oregon. This was a big deal for him to do an out of state trip where he went after a deer and a pronghorn. And while he's out there, the thing that's weighing on him is he's not able to help as many people as he normally would. I think last year, he told me he helped fill like 14 or 15 tags. And like this year it was 10. And so on that regard, like he felt bad, like he didn't help as many people, and that weighed on him. And yet, like, here's somebody doing an exotic hunt where they're paying a lot of money to go hunt out of state. And, he's putting in all the work that he normally would. And I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing too, that he made a point about.
Mhm.
So,
Definitely makes it hard on us. That's for sure.
yeah, I mean, it's tricky. We want this to be, we want this award to be something where it represents the type of hunters that we want to celebrate and people that are going to pave the way. It's not always going to be the person that kills the biggest or kills the most. And we want to we're also looking at like, well, what differentiates this year from last year? Because we've got a lot of people, like, I mean, you could point out Randy Newberg or something. It's like, if Randy Newberg was in this, like, think of how many animals he takes every year, but like, what differentiates this year from the previous year? Or, and you start doing that level of comparison. And I think for Josh, the thing that stuck out to me, why this would be a differentiating year for him, was because he did that Wyoming hunt. But then I listened to his heart talking about it, and I'm like, that wasn't his highlight. That wasn't the thing that he's hanging his hat on. The thing that he's most disappointed about was how many people he couldn't help. I'm just like,
yeah,
man, that's I love hearing these stories. That's why I love doing what we're doing right here.